Now at 5:30, a third person's been arrested in connection to a Lexington delivery driver's killing.
Also on WKYT this morning, 2 people are set to be arraigned today after thousands of dollars worth of bourbon was stolen in Franklin County.
And a former Speaker of the House slapped with a federal indictment. We'll have the details coming up.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning. It's great to have you with us bright and early on this Friday as we head toward that weekend. I'm Bill Bryant.
And I'm Rebecca Smith. Maybe your outdoor plans potentially have a plan B for that this weekend, because we are, of course, having another chance for rain.
Once again, most of that in the afternoon. So it sounds like when we consult with Micah that morning activities are pretty good to go.
Yeah, I think so. We got the 5Ks tomorrow morning. We have Bike Lexington. We have so many things happening that you'll be able to get outside without worrying about rain. Now, however, graduations, festivals off into the afternoon and off into the evening hours, fairs going on. That's going to be a tough go at it as we hit the next several days. Now, current temperatures sitting there in the 60s. We have a 70-degree reading over in the east. It's not a great start. It's pretty much what you have felt the past couple of mornings. By the afternoon, we're in the lower 80s. With a few showers and a few rumbles of thunder. I'll take you into your weekend and really jot down those details coming up.
Okay, we'll see you in a bit. Let's get to the news.
Well, this morning, local and state agencies are searching for a missing teen with autism.
The 19-year-old was last seen in Washington County. Dispatchers say he walked away from his house about 10:30 last night. Now, we'll keep you updated on WKYT this morning as soon as we get some additional information on that.
And also this morning, a third person is behind bars in connection to a Lexington delivery driver's murder.
22-year-old Trey Relford was arrested last night. He is charged with murder, robbery, and evidence tampering in the death of 22-year-old Salahuddin Jitmood. WKYT's Hillary Thornton is joining us live this morning with the latest details in this unfolding case. Hillary?
Good morning, Bill and Rebecca. We've been looking through the arrest citation for this newest arrest, 22-year-old Trey Relford. And according to that citation, Lexington police believe he played several roles in this crime, including getting rid of some of the evidence. Trey Relford joins Cameron McClellan and Antonio Lewis as suspects in the case. Late last night, we picked up the arrest citation for Relford, who is charged with murder, first-degree robbery, and tampering with physical evidence. Investigators believe Relford was involved in the intentional death of Salahuddin Jitmood by means of a sharp object. Investigators also say that during the murder, property was stolen from the pizza delivery driver and that Relford helped dispose of evidence from the murder. Back in April, police say Jitmood was delivering pizza to an apartment complex on Trent Circle when he was robbed and stabbed to death. Police found the 22-year-old lying in the breezeway of the apartment. A little more than a week later, McClellan and Lewis were arrested and charged in the murder. Now, this newest arrest in the case, Trey Relford, is scheduled to be arraigned later today here at Fayette County District Court. Live in Lexington, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
Hillary, thank you. 2 people accused of being involved in a Kentucky bourbon theft scheme are scheduled to be arraigned today. Kentucky State Police say an alleged crime ring stole more than $100,000 worth of bourbon. Troopers say the group operated from 2008 through April of this year. Since then, investigators have recovered barrels, bottles of whiskey, and more. We'll continue to track this case throughout the day, and we'll have the latest on WKYT.
Well, 2 people are due in court today in connection to a Lexington man's murder. Alex Johnson went missing in December of 2013. Police say Mark Taylor and Timothy Ballard lured Johnson into their car and beat him to death. Taylor is charged with murder and kidnapping, Ballard with kidnapping and evidence tampering. Both are due in Fayette Circuit Court at 8:30 this morning for a status hearing. Also in Lexington, a man convicted in a different 2013 murder is set to be sentenced today. Police say Joel Searcy carjacked an 81-year-old man and threw him out of a vehicle into a parking lot. That man later died from his injuries. Police say Searcy also took a woman and her 3 children on a dangerous ride and crashed her car before the carjacking. He's been convicted with murder, robbery, and 5 counts of unlawful imprisonment. His sentencing is scheduled for 8:30.
Time this morning is 5:35 here on WKYT. The Obama administration is urgently warning of dangerous interruptions to terrorist tracking if Congress does not extend a key provision of the Patriot Act by Sunday night.
That's when authorization for major U.S. intelligence programs, including collection of bulk phone data, will expire. Of course, there are people who are against this section of it. Michelle Kaczynski has the latest.
The clock is ticking. 3 days to the deadline. If the Senate again fails to approve at least an extension, the government will no longer be allowed to collect and save Americans' phone data. The NSA says precisely 8 hours to deadline at 3:59 p.m. Sunday.
Senate will come to order.
That's 1 minute before the Senate even returns to deal with this. Officials will have to start shutting down servers, reconfiguring software, severing the data collection pipelines from your phone companies. If the Senate acts by 8 p.m., they can start it all back up without interruption. The issue here, of course, security versus personal privacy. The White House says Congress is playing national security Russian roulette.
These are programs that have provided valuable information in the past. These are critical tools that are used to keep the American people safe.
Yet it is impossible for U.S. officials to point to even one case where these programs saved the day, thwarted terrorism. Senator Rand Paul, who held up the Senate in approving even a reformed version of accessing that data, remains adamant. Today,
but it's one of the most cherished rights to be left alone. And what they're doing now, I think, is unconstitutional and illegal.
but it's not only phone data collection set to expire. It's also collecting business, bank, hotel, and other records on individuals. Officials say used around 200 times a year. There are other ways to get that info, though, just more limited and less secret. Also, roving wiretaps on people who keep switching cell phones, used only less than 100 times a year. But the government says there is no other way to track these people as quickly or effectively. And wiretaps on so-called lone wolves, not connected to any known terror group.
Also in Washington, one man went from the second in line to the president to a suspected felon. Former House Speaker Dennis Hastert now faces federal charges. He's accused of making false statements to the FBI and trying to hide large financial transactions. The government alleges the payments were meant to, quote, compensate and conceal Hastert's prior misconduct. Hastert told FBI agents the withdrawals were because he did not trust the banking system.
Obviously, a lot more to learn about that story. A pilot who made an emergency landing on a Kentucky highway says it was just all part of his training. Robert Kenyon landed his plane on Kentucky 555 around 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon in Washington County. Deputies say he was flying the plane from Indiana back to his home in South Carolina. Kenyon's plane had some engine trouble at 5,500 feet up. He says without the quick thinking, it could have ended in tragedy.
It started running just slightly rough, so I did the first thing you normally do. I didn't think I was going to make it, to be honest with you.
Kenyon said he could not make it to an airport, and the closest possible landing strip turned out to be Highway 555. He saw it down below him. He says he's been a pilot for more than 30 years.
Well, troopers and federal agents raided 2 Lexington businesses yesterday as part of a major investigation, they're calling it. The Progress Market on North Limestone and the Eastland Market were searched. Police say the owners of both stores were selling stolen merchandise from Kroger. Investigators say they've been working with Kroger's loss prevention team for more than a month.
Today we were in the right place at the right time, and actually we made narcotics arrests, and it was kind of a 2-for-1 today for us.
Kentucky State Police say they also found a semi-automatic handgun inside the Progress Market.
People in Nepal are still cleaning up after 2 massive earthquakes hit the country, and now people in Lexington are offering a helping hand. The Central Kentucky Council for Peace and Justice, along with the Forum of Nepalese in America, teamed up last night to raise money for Nepal. They put on comedy routines, and they asked for a $10 donation to help Nepali victims. On top of hundreds of thousands of people being without shelter, Nepal's monsoon season is now just around the corner. It's had a good time, certainly for a wonderful cause, and everybody kept in mind why they were there last night for the entertainment.
Beautiful dancing and costumes.
Good, wasn't it? All right, with 5 graduation ceremonies planned at Rupp Arena, downtown Lexington roads are expected to be busy.
This weekend, Bike Lexington is being held downtown. That's tomorrow morning, adding up even more congestion for drivers and pedestrians. Mark Barber joins us live with how we can avoid getting stuck in traffic. Good morning.
Good morning, Rebecca. If you want to avoid traffic trouble, you may want to start planning ahead. Traffic will start to pick up this afternoon and will likely stay heavy through tomorrow afternoon. So to help you navigate the streets of downtown, we have a list of all the events happening so you can plan around them. The first of 5 high school graduations at Rupp Arena will start this afternoon. The ceremony for Lafayette High School students will be at 4 p.m. Tonight at 7, students at Tate's Creek will also graduate. On Saturday, graduations are starting at 10 a.m. with Bryan Station High School. Then at 1 o'clock, Henry Clay High School will graduate, and at 4, Paul Lawrence Dunbar students will start their ceremony. Those graduations aren't the only thing that could slow traffic. Bike Lexington will kick off their event with activities at the Courthouse Plaza at Main Street and Limestone Street at 8 on Saturday morning. Then at 10, their family bike rides will take off. One area where things may start really moving slowly could be between North Limestone and Upper Street as construction crews continue to work on the new 21C hotel. Now, of course, when you add into that the rain that Mike has been talking about in the forecast, things could get slick, and of course that could slow you down even more. So again, you may want to start planning ahead to take your time. Live in Lexington, Mark Barber, WKYT.
All right, Mark, thanks for the heads up. And if you are looking for something fun to do with your family, an annual tradition continues this weekend. The St. Elizabeth Ann Seton Country Fair is quite the Lexington tradition. It features carnival rides, a rummage sale, vendors, live music, a lot more. Admission is just $1 except for Sunday when it's free. Proceeds benefit programs at the St. Elizabeth Ann Seton Church on Summerhill Drive, where the fair is being held. So, good fun over there.
Another option for you.
Have good times. All right, 5:42 the time. A lot more news is coming up on your Friday morning.
Stay with us.
And we're looking outside, looking at that hour-by-hour forecast in the next several days. Look towards Saturday morning. Things look good, but what about Saturday afternoon and off into Sunday? That's the bad news, and I'll show you all that coming up.